Okay, so what questions should you ask yourself when you're doing this? Because this is the important thing. What questions should you ask yourself? Who? Who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy my product? Who am I going to ask to invest in me? Who am I going to go to get the grant money? Who's going to make it? Who am I going to employ to make sure that my business succeeds? What the hell am I doing here? Straw poll. Anybody here who thinks they're going to go into business when they leave uni for themselves? Leave the room now, please. I didn't think there was anybody else who could sink to such depths. I'm very sorry for you and I wish you all the best. If anybody here thinks that running a business is easy, it's hard. It's bloody hard. It's very hard. And the ups are far outweighed by the downs. Just bear that in mind, please. You might want to change your mind. So what the hell am I doing here? What am I going to sell? What am I going to do if it goes wrong? Very, very important questions. Because if you don't understand them, what are you going to do when the situation happens and you've got to make that decision? Where am I going to sell it? Am I going to sell it in this country? In Sheffield? South Yorkshire? UK? The rest of the world? Where am I going to sell it? My plumbing chap who's done this and made this valve, we started off by looking at the market in this country. Very, very good market. We've ended up by taking patents out in China, Australasia, including New Zealand, America and Europe, because we believe that it will sell in all those countries. And the reason we believe it will sell in all those countries is because wherever there's a radiator, people will want this valve. And there's radiators in all those countries. That's great, so that's where we'll sell it. So you have to make sure that you know where you're going to sell it. Where's it going to be made? Our valve's going to be made in China. Because it's at least 50% cheaper than making it over here. And the quality is 100% genuine, guaranteed. When? When am I going to start? When do I want the money to actually get my business off the ground? When am I going to recruit people? There's no point launching an ice cream salon in the middle of November. You might get a few people in, but it's not very advisable. Especially in November at Scunthorpe, when it's raining, because nobody will buy ice cream then. Now, if it's in the middle of July, you've got a far better chance of being successful. So you've got to think about these things. Why? Why me? I ask myself this question every single day of the year. Why am I doing this? Why will people buy it? This is the so what question. Why will people buy it? Why will people give me good money? Why will institutions give me good money? Why will they give me their time? Why will people come and work with me? You have to know the answers to these questions, because an investor will expect you to know. And if the investor isn't convinced that you know, you won't get any money. You'll get left out of the room. Guaranteed. How am I going to sell it? I'm going to sell it on the internet. I'm going to sell it from Bradford Market. I'm going to sell it through B&Q or Wix or Marks and Spencer's. Who's going to help me with it? How is it going to happen then? And how is that money that I'm after going to enable me to do it? And finally, how much is it going to cost me to make, how much is it going to cost me to sell, and how much do I want, and can I justify it? All these questions, if you don't know the answers to, then you're in the wrong room. That's with the investor. Because the business plan is such an important aspect of the application to obtaining the money, it's really important that you get this clearly and concisely produced. Something called hurt money, and I've seen loads and loads of people come to me and say, well, I want you to get me some money. Okay, fine, I can do that. And how much are you putting into it? Oh, I'm not putting anything into it. Okay, put your money into this, I want somebody else to do it. So if you can imagine sat there as being the investors, and I come to you and say, I want £100,000 from you chaps, and you say to me, so, how much are you putting in? I'm not putting money. Should I put money in? It's what you're for. Do you think that they're going to be really wanting to put money into something that you haven't got the confidence in? The answer to that is a very, very short word, beginning with N and ending in O. You'll be laughed out of the room again. There's lots of people laughing as people leave rooms in investment because there's lots of very, very poorly constructed business plans and submissions. The business model, you have to clearly understand how this business model is going to work, and that business model is, this is where the product is, this is where it needs to get to, how is it going to work its way through this minefield of legislation, of retail, of wholesale, of stock holding, of manufacturing. How's it going to work, and how are all these people going to be paid? And importantly, how much is going to be left after that? Because the people who are investing in you want to know how much is left at the end of it, so they can be assured that they'll get paid. I guess that at some point you will have gone to the bank for a bank loan, a student loan, or whatever it is. And one of the questions that is asked, certainly as a bank loan, is, so what's your income? Oh, well, I'm self-employed. Next. You know, show me your books, show me your bank account, how much have you got in that, how much can you offset against it, put your house up against it, what? You have to be absolutely certain that the business model and all the bits that support that bring it in together. A clear and justifiable financial analysis. You need to put together cash flow projections and P&L and balance sheet projections. Very, very important, because what an investor will do, if you've got a 10-page document or a 110-page document, you'll look at the executive summary on the front, and then you'll turn to the back and look at your financials. And if your financials aren't telling you that you're going to be an absolute zillionaire in the next 3 years, you might not be interested. Because the executive summary will tell him very quickly how you're going to achieve that. And if you can't convince him on either, goodbye. He won't do it. So it's very important that you get these things in. And finally, the full business plan and strategy that pulls all that together. Anybody here heard of organisational development? OD? Yes? Wow. First person I know who's heard of it, other than when I read it in a book once. Well done. Organisational development, it's about, if I'm wrong, please don't say anything, okay? It's about, this is where the business is now, the organisation is now, this is where it wants to be, and this is how it's going to achieve it, the path. That is the strategy. Is that okay? That is how the strategy works. It's the roadmap to getting from one place to another. So you need to pull all that together so that the people who are reading this plan will feel pretty warm about it and will be, you know, beginning to warm to this great, you know, product that you've got, this great business.